Thank you. And I actually do have a part-time co-host. His name is Smokey. He'll probably be joining periodically throughout the session. Yes, my name is Nelson Rascon. I am from Tacoma, Washington. I have been in kind of the peer behavioral health world for almost 20 years. I've been involved in several initiatives involving father engagement, and I have helped start two organizations and, like I said, other initiatives. So, what I want to do is I want to get through the presentation and leave as much time as possible for Q&A. And I'm going to go through and kind of discuss my experience in developing father peer support and kind of the need of it. And I will give you a little bit of my background here in a bit. And if you wish, feel free to drop questions as you think about it in the chat, and we will get to that at the end. So again, Nelson Rascon, Tacoma, Washington. I am a founder and former director of Dad's Move. I also used to be part of an organization here in Washington called Washington Dads. So I've been around this for quite a long time. See if this will work. So again, just a quick overview. I'm really wanting to touch on driving home the point, or the importance of father engagement and why father involvement is so vital for our families and our youth. My hope is that we'll get kind of an understanding of gaps in our current system, and I will talk about it from not only my own personal perspective, having been a single father and having to navigate the behavioral health system here in Washington, but I will also talk about it from the standpoint, from a professional standpoint, what I've seen from the provider point of view, particularly within peer support. I will discuss some kind of successes and challenges that I've learned over the years. And also, I will be sending all of you away with a little toolkit I made, kind of a handout to help all of you hopefully build or enhance father programs across the country. Or at least that's my hope. So, why fathers matter? I think most of us know this, but I don't think we really truly understand. And I didn't actually at first. Again, I became a single father when my son was 3 years old. So I kind of had to figure it out. But as I started doing this work, I really started looking at data and, issues from homelessness to inpatient care for youth. And what I really started to see was a lot of our societal challenges, particularly within the family unit, is from lack of father involvement. It is, I think, a larger problem than a lot of people realize, and that a healthy family, it's so vital having both parents, excuse me, fully involved and engaged. So my vision is clear. I I believe in co-parenting. I believe moms and dads are equally important, and I believe both have unique needs as far as their support and guidance in not only parenting, but when the family needs help. All too often, unfortunately, for many decades, fathers have been, to be honest, thought of as a check. While that is important, we are way more important to a child's development than just child support. So that is kind of my vision in in father peer support. We've built a great system for decades now where moms have had a lot of peer support and support groups and a lot of stuff out there, and dads just haven't had it. So, with that, a little bit about me. As you can see here, this is my son in the center. I happen to have a, excuse me, a blended family.
Nelson,
Yes, ma'am.
Nelson, we can't see your slides.
Oh, you can't. Thank
No,
you
no,
for telling me that.
no problem.
I had hit it. How about now?
Not yet. Now, a very
Haha.
handsome man in a football outfit.
There we go. Thank you for telling me because I thought it was Sharon. Any case, thank you again. So yes, this is my son who brought me into this work. He is 29 years old, has bipolar disorder and a few other fun challenges. He currently is living with us right now. So again, as I have found out, parenting does not end at 18. Uh, he has definitely proven that. Um, so my wife and I, she has two kids. Both of her children have developmental disabilities. So between us, we had three children with complex needs, and we learned very quickly that to survive, both of us needed to share the load. And that's ultimately what I'm trying to preach here today about father involvement. It's about a partnership. Um, he was diagnosed at a very young age, I think about 3 years old. So I had to figure out the behavioral health system at a very young age, or when he was young. And what I figured out real quick was we have a system that has been built around mom because moms have been the primary caregiver. And I found as I was trying to get support for both myself and my son, the systems that were in place were quite frankly lacking. And that was my driving force to try and create better supports and systems for fathers. Um, Along the way, I've created programs over the last 15 years, again, to support fathers. I developed programs and led programs that formulate peer mentorship and peer training that are specific to fathers, programs that are specific to fathers. For probably the last 5 years, I've been really engaged in increasing the amount of certified peer counselors in the state of Washington that are men, because particularly on the family side, it's really been lacking, and it still does, having male family peers. Because one of my visions, and it continues to be, is when a family needs support, is that both moms and dads will have their own peer support that can work with them. Again, promoting that true whole family wraparound approach. Reducing isolation. I think all too often men don't talk about their feelings, they don't talk about their challenges, and they end up isolating themselves. What you can see here is a father's retreat that I ran for many years and hope to again, where the whole idea was getting fathers together that had that shared experience. They were parents of children with challenging behaviors, to connect guys so they're not isolated, so they know it's okay to cry, to admit that they're having a challenge. And again, promoting hopefully more men working within the peer world. So I've learned a lot of lessons building father peer support. There's been a lot of bumps in the road. We again have a system that is not really structured to engage fathers or understand fathers or their unique needs. So not only are you having to do your standard challenges of building an organization or a peer network, but then you also have the challenges of building it to fit the unique needs of fathers and men and how that works within the bigger system. So within building a network, I'd say probably one of the earliest challenges I found was actually recruiting fathers with their own lived experience to come forward and be comfortable to to share their stories. That is so important. And if you all take away anything, I think that is a big one, is constantly encouraging fathers that it's okay to share their struggles, to share their heartaches, their triumphs, to try and encourage other fathers to come forward and help other fathers. We really need that support. It was that was probably one of the biggest challenges for me as I raised my son, was that it was hard finding someone to talk to that really understood where I was coming from, how his challenges felt on me, how it felt having to go and get services in a very mother dominated system. So it's really important to have people to talk to, which again is why it's so important to encourage more fathers to become peers within our system. Creating advocacy pathways, another huge important thing. We all have been to meetings and conferences, and that's great. But again, we need to advocate for fathers, to empower them to go to trainings, to become educated, to show their voice, to engage policymakers on reforming the family support systems. We need those voices to be heard. So creating, as you build a system, creating those advocacy pathways for fathers is so crucial to get their voices out, which is why for years I have served on numerous committees, from my state's behavioral health advisory board to my local one, because I believe it's really important to get that father voice out there as policymakers and mental health organizations build programs and improve programs to hopefully elevate that father voice. So as I said at the beginning of this, I actually made a sheet that I'm gonna try to put in the chat as an attachment to give you an idea of kind of a roadmap, at least from my perspective, of what I followed, and some training tools and framework and strategies to try and encourage men to be involved and to help more men to be involved. So I'm hoping that will help. And right now I'm gonna try to attach it here. It'll work. Maybe not. We'll try that when we're done. So again, I kind of a step-by-step roadmap for launching a dad's group. And again, that's probably where you want to start, having a basic kind of dad support group. And then kind of how do you train for peer mentors? There's not enough of them out there to mentor other dads that are coming up to use their lived experience. Information on partnership and collaboration, which is huge. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the collaborations over the years. So I'm really hoping that's going to help everyone. Couple lessons I've learned along the way. One of the challenges is, again, it's not only getting fathers involved, it's building an organization that understands fathers and from a leadership point of view. And this is where I ran into a huge struggle with my previous position, was getting the right staff and the right board leadership that really understood father support to their core. And that is so important. I cannot drive that home enough. You need board members that not only understand the role of properly governing a nonprofit, that actually understand and believe in the need for father support and actively working with you in that mission. Yes, I am happy to share these slides. So that's I can't stress that enough, because again, this became a huge ordeal in my last position, and it can take down your whole momentum. So don't forget those nuts and bolts as you build a system, to have the right leadership in place and the right support systems in place as you build that. So again, I as I said, I wanted to leave more of the time for question and answer.